Welcome back to Talkin Flag. New season and new conversations. I'm Ambra.
And I'm Tika, and today we're speaking with someone who's using flag football to change lives. Shaniga Omari, founder of the Big Kid Foundation.
Shaninga is someone who uses flag football to change how young people see themselves on and off the field. And he didn't come alone today. Joining us as well is Omari Hunt, a Big Kid Foundation and GB athlete, giving us the player's perspective on what this work really looks like.
Shaniga Omari, thank you so much, both of you, for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you for
Thanks for
having us.
having us.
We're
Yeah,
very,
yeah. Happy
very
to
I'm
be here,
excited.
excited.
guys.
Good. So we'll start with you, Shaniga. So for anyone hearing about you or the Big Kid Foundation for the first time, who are you and what is Big Kid Foundation really about?
Oh man. Well, thanks for having us. First of all, I'm a Bears fan, as you can tell. We are we're on a run right now. I don't know when this is gonna come out, but hey, I might be crying or I might be very excited about the outcome. But yeah, so I'm Shaninga. So I founded Big Kid about a long time ago, man, over 20 something years ago when I was a spring chicken in school. And I started it as a mentoring program to try and work with young people and try and keep them in school and keep them engaged with school. Here we are, like we registered in 2000 and I want to say 8, so we're like 17 years as a registered organization, but we had done about 7 years worth of work prior to that point. And our goal and our mission is to end youth violence, and we do that in a number of ways. Sport is one of the core ways we like to engage with young people, keep them on positive pathways, introduce them to things that they've never been introduced to before, and then we really champion their voice and their talent because we believe every single young person has the ability to do amazing things, just given the opportunity. So we try and give young people that opportunity to try and keep them off negative pathways and to stay on positive pathways.
That just sounds absolutely fantastic. So, but when people hear foundation, they sometimes think charity, right? So, how do you actually describe what you do day to day?
Yeah, so we're a registered charity. That's what we are. But we like to make the word charity cool, right? So we try and do cool stuff with cool people like you guys, and with cool young people like Omari. And we've got really amazing ambassadors. Phoebe Schechter, who you guys all know, champion of flag football, European champ. She's one of our ambassadors. We've also got Fa Obada, ex NFL player or current NFL player. He is one of our ambassadors as well. And then we've got Jochebed Frimpong, who's playing for the GB squad, just won the European champs as well. They're all out in Florida right now, about to play in a tournament. So yeah, we're a charity. We do good things. Like we're out to work with people and work with people on the margins of society, and especially young people who are at risk of social exclusion. So they're at risk of youth violence. Our job is to come in and champion them and be that support system that they might not have at home. And we have loads of different ways of doing that. Sport is one of those ways. We've also got a leadership program that we deliver in schools. We've also got a community engagement program where we have community hubs. They'll come to us after school, we'll feed them, we'll deliver loads of mental health and well-being support, help them with their work. They might need support at home, and we'll try and help them that way as well. So yes, we are a charity, but we're a cool charity. We do cool stuff, man. We've been to the Super Bowl twice, so we're cool, man.
Wow, no way.
You are extremely cool then. That's amazing. So, Shaninga, when you're telling us this, like, I really wonder if there was a person or a moment in your life that made you realize that you wanted to start this initiative.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments, right? So the first moment was when I was 18, 17, 18 at school. And I was like head boy of the school. I was school captain and first black head boy of my school. And I remember talking to my dad, and he was just like, "Look, what legacy are you going to leave at the school? Like, you got to do something." And I was like, "All right, cool." So we came up with a concept to mentor a group of young boys who were in year 9 at the time. I was in sixth form, and they just needed support. They needed someone to back them. And we did that for 2 years. We didn't know what we were doing. No one had trained us. We just knew we wanted to be like their big brothers, and we came in and we supported them through that process. So that was the first thing that happened that kind of got me thinking about social impact, helping people and supporting people. And then the second thing that happened was in 2011, I was mentoring a young man from North London called Negus McLean, who sadly got stabbed to death. And that was a turning point for me. So I had a job in the city and I was working in business development. And when that happened, that really changed my perspective of what was important in life. And I was like, you know what, I really need to put my life force into this just so that I can prevent any more young people from dying aimlessly on the streets of London. And that's what we did. I went into it full time in 2011. We hardly had any money in the bank, but it was a leap of faith. We jumped into it with both feet, and here we are in 2025, 17 years later. We still exist, and we're doing amazing things with amazing people like Omari.
Wow. And yeah, talking about Omari, we would love to bring you in here, of course. So, for people who don't know you yet, who are you and how did Big Kid Foundation become part of your journey?
Yeah, so I actually joined Big Kids when I was probably about 14, 15. I had a friend who I went to school with at Dunraven Secondary School who's now at the University of Temple. He's playing over there in college, and he actually was going to the Big Kid session before I did. I didn't even know about Big Kid. I didn't know about flag football at all. I was the typical UK boy playing, football, soccer, whatever one would call it, athletics as well. That was kind of like my main thing. And where I was kind of grew up, you could kind of say there was some kind of gang violence around and whatnot. And there was like a turning point for me, similar to what Shaniga was explaining, where my brother had actually got stabbed in the back. And yeah, and then that kind of, for me, I was never kind of involved in those kind of stuff, but I always, when you're growing up around that, you're always at risk of maybe being involved. And then for me, Big Kid came at the right time, and flag football was literally my place where I was able to express myself, find myself. I really call Big Kid like a family away from home. And then from there, it just, yeah, the rest was history. I remember my first tournament was that same year. I didn't know anyone on the team. The first tournament, I think we went to Sheffield. I remember that. That was my first ever flag tournament, and I fell in love with the sport, fell in love with the people. Jonathan, who was my coach back then, still is sort of as well, but I also work with him as well. He's one of the program managers at Big Kid as well, and he literally turned my life right around. He day to day inside of Big Kid, outside of Big Kid, he would check up on me, make sure I'm doing well. Yeah, and then anytime I wanted extra training, he would be happy to help, whether that's a Saturday. He'll give up time outside of, work and whatnot to make sure not just me, but others that jock bed as well, are doing well, training, whatever that is. And from there, I was able to get into the Great Britain Under-19 contact program. I went to NFL Academy, the flag program now as well. So yeah.
What a journey. Can we just give a shout out to Jonathan, who hopefully is
Yes,
listening at
yes.
some point? But what a journey, hey, that's just, I'm flabbergasted. Like how
Yeah.
you've even worked yourself into spaces like GB and NFL flag, starting from almost like from scratch, from zero, not even knowing flag football, and then having
Yeah.
such an
I
incredible
didn't know a
team.
thing. Yeah, I didn't know a thing
No,
at all.
wow. Have you got any reflections on? Because I'm like, wow, that this is just so
Yeah,
special.
I'm pretty speechless as well. But was there a specific reason, I'm asking myself, that made you want to get involved with Big Kid Foundation?
So like I said, when I first joined, my friend literally just asked me to come down to like a session, that was going on at Larkle Park. Like I said, I didn't really know what Big Kid was. If I remember correctly, he actually didn't even tell me it was a Big Kid session. He just, knew what I was going through as well. And he was a good friend, and he just told me to come down. And then obviously when I went down there, obviously then I found out it was Big Kids. And then for me, what made Big Kids special for me was what is different is for a lot of young people growing up in terms of sport. a lot of times, even though within a team sport, sometimes you could feel kind of overlooked or not really celebrated. You know,
Mhm.
where as soon as I stepped foot in Larcool, you know, no matter if it's your first time there, no matter if you know the game inside and out or not, you know, whether you're fast, slow, whatever, you know, you're literally celebrated, you know, and that's what really hit home for me. And even growing up, like I said, I was playing football, soccer, whatever you want to call it. And, you know, even though I was on teams and whatnot, I was never really celebrated. And where when I came to Big Kid, that's where the first time I really actually celebrated. I really actually found my feet. Like I said, I found my voice as well. Even doing this, you know, like public speaking was a big fear of mine, you know, and I was
Mhm.
never able to do this. And Shaningo as well, he actually helped me conquer that fear. And like I said, that's what makes Big Kid kind of unique for me. And I always tell other young people that as well. It's literally a place that isn't like any other. And I remember saying it a while back as well. If it wasn't for Big Kid, I honestly feel like I would have been on like the front of a newspaper on like a tragic story. So yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's a really, really crazy story. And I think it's amazing, Shaninga, that you do all of this for the kids, right? And it's so important to teach them these skills, like first of all, self-esteem and confidence, but then also public speaking is something that is not always that is, overlooked sometimes, like a skill that like young kids especially don't really work on. But if I see Omari right now, like speaking in all confidence, and it's absolutely amazing. And I'm already so proud of you of what you
Yeah,
achieved
thank
at
you.
this young age. And obviously, Shaninga, you too. What you're doing is outstanding.
Yeah, it's so important. I mean, leadership is one of the threads that we have across all of our programming, whether it's stuff we do in schools, whether it's the mentoring program, mental health and well-being, or if it's the sports engagement stuff. We really believe our young people are leaders, and part of leadership is being able to express yourself, being able to use your voice for good and use your voice for others as well. And part of that is learning how to speak publicly, how to tell your story authentically and not hide from it, not
Mhm.
lower yourself just because you don't think you're qualified. You are qualified. You are important. We need you on these platforms telling your story, because if you're able to tell your story, that could help someone else. That could help another young person who might be going through either the same thing, or even if it's a different thing. It's just encouraging everyone. It's that concept of each one reach one. Let's
Mhm.
encourage each other to do amazingly great things. And the amazing thing about flag football is that it's a complete team sport. So as a youth work practitioner, I'm able to use that sport to get through all the things we need to get through to the young people, because it's a complete team sport. It's not, the thing about football or soccer is that it's great. We used to run huge programs on soccer and football, but if you are very skilled at that sport, you'll do really, really well. And if you're not really skilled at that sport, you're gonna struggle, and that you won't find your place in there. It's always that adage of, there's that kid who can't kick a ball, so they stick him in goal, and he hates being in goal, so he ends up just sitting on the sideline watching his friends play. Whereas in flag football, as you guys know, there's a position for absolutely everybody, whether it's offense, whether it's defense. And when we first came into contact with flag football in 2019, through Nike and NFL and FA Obada, we were like, this is what we've been missing. Like, this sport enabled us to reach young people that we'd historically struggled to reach, because they just won't engage with any of our sports. We ran basketball programs, we run soccer programs, we run tennis, all these kind of skill sports, but they just didn't have that complete team element. And we struggled with it. The only thing I can compare it to is probably netball, where there's a position for absolutely everybody.
Uh-huh.
But flag football is like, why we loved it is because we're a high energy organization, right? So we do everything, we're positive, we like to exude positive energy, we like people and people like us. And flag football allowed us to do that with that whole Americana-ness of it all. And I think connecting with Nike and them bringing all of their kind of freebies that we could give to the kids over the first 6 weeks of the program. And then NFL brought the hype and all of the music and all of that kind of stuff. As Brits, we were like, this is amazing. What is this all about? And we were getting kids who've never played sport before coming down, trying out and trying to play with us. And because we're inclusive, we let anyone and everybody play, and we'll make sure that you'll get a touch of the ball, or if you pull a tag, we're going to celebrate it as much as we celebrate touchdowns. And that's the energy we bring. So it's like, for us, flag football is one of these things that's been missing, and that's an amazing tool for any type of organization that does sport for good. And I've been promoting it for since 2019 globally. Every time we're in a country somewhere, I'm just like, you guys got to start flag football. If you can't, we're going to help you start. We're going to connect with the NFL. We'll connect you guys with whoever you need to connect with, so you can actually start this program.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The vibe flag football brings, and the team spirit, it is different than a sport like football, soccer, however you want to call it, as you say.
Yeah, the atmosphere. Yeah,
the atmosphere is different, isn't it? Yeah.
Well, it's the hype. We have music at every session. You can't have music at football. It confuses them. There's a whole culture with soccer, right, that you can't really break. Whereas with flag, we were like, let's create our own culture, right? There's this American culture of bringing music. We bring the hype. We do all of this amazing things, but actually we can make it British. Like, we'll play British tunes while we're doing it. We'll have food afterwards. It's creating that family atmosphere. And we've got boys and girls playing on the same sports. There are not a lot of sports that you can do that. And what we found is the guys are like super protective of the girls, and the girls are super protective of the boys. And it's like, it's this amazing family unit that we've created. And out of it, there've been this happy mistake of finding these natural elite athletes who've just now gone on. Omari's gone on to GB. You've got Jokobed gone on to GB. You've got who else do we have? We've got quite a lot. We've got
Ozzy,
Ozzy's
Ben,
gone on.
yeah,
We've got like this loads of these young
yeah.
people that have come through our program, never having played the game before, are now playing at an elite level and have a shot at playing at the Olympics. Like, that's huge. That's like, but that's not what we're in it. We're in it for the grassroots work of it. Like, how do we change and impact lives using the sport? The happy the happy kind of result of it is the elite side of it. The NFL Academy, the GB. That's great. That's like the icing on the cake. What Phoebe's doing is amazing, and having us being connected with Phoebe is so helpful for us when we're engaging with young women who are learning the sport. And we can be like, look, this person who's on Sky Sports, with the NFL, she's traveling across America, she's playing flag. This is our ambassador. You can be like her. That can happen. This is not out of your reach. Look at these guys. Look at Omari. He's come from nothing, not knowing the sport. Now he's traveling with the GB squad, captaining the GB squad. Like, that's huge. This is why we love flag football so much, and we've been promoting it and pushing it for so long. And my moniker was flag is the future, but actually flag is the present.
And yes, so then Omari, from your side, when did you personally feel that shift? So when did flag football become more than just training or competition for you?
Yeah, so it's backing off of what Shaniga said. Like, for me, from the moment I started actually regularly attending the flag sessions, like when I first started, it was like another sport to me. Obviously when you're young, you also, even though it's a training session, it's a community session, you always have that kind of competitiveness within yourself, winning all those kind of stuff there. But then when I realized actually this is actually more than a sport for me, and the way how BIGKID actually packages it as well and delivers it for young people, it becomes more than just a sport. Like I say, it's a place where, for me, I've seen it myself, where you have people who come down, even if they're not even involved in playing, they just want to come down and be involved in the atmosphere, and for me, that's when that shift happened, where it was like, actually, this is much more, this is much bigger than just being competitive. This is something that's actually changing lives, that for me as well, and other young people that I've seen and young people that I've actually helped coach. We're now actually good friends, and even other young people that we've gone into schools and actually coached, and I've seen them now actually grow to love the sport, and also then love the coaches as well that they've actually built relationships with. So for me, all of that then showed me that actually this is much more than just, training. This is much more than just trying to beat the next man in front of me. This is actually, something that is changing lives. And like I said, like for me as well, it kind of put like a fire in me, which, like it helped me, especially last year, because last year last year I had to sit out the whole season because I had broken my ankle the year prior in two places, but I mean I couldn't even move or jump or anything. And I basically had to now watch everyone kind of play the sport I loved. So as well, that was also another shift for me, because when now you have to sit out and watch people do what you love, you also kind of also have more respect for the game, because sometimes you also kind of take it for granted. We all kind of do it. Like people say all the time, you never really know when your last snap is going to be, or when you're going to get injured, and all those kind of stuff there. And, like I said, that whole season really then it made me appreciate the game from another standpoint, because then I was like, okay, how can I contribute to the game but having to sit out? And then that then put the fire in me when the GB trials came around. I didn't know if I could even cut or jump or land. And the first ever time I actually did any of those was at the GB trials. And on my way there, I was kind of doubting myself and thinking, oh, what am I doing? Like, I haven't even trained properly for this yet. I don't even know if I could land, jump, or cut. And I was like, actually, there's so many young people within Big Kid that want to be in this position, are probably looking up at me and thinking, okay, if Omari could do it, if Djokovic could do it, if Ozzy could do it, Enrique and so many more, then so can I. So I was like, you know what? This is much bigger than me. Let me at least try, so I'm actually showing other young people, even though I'm not even sure if I could do this 100%, I'm trying, and, God willing, I got into the team. And then, the first tournament around, we had Kingbo, and I was the captain of the team for Kingbo as well. That was an emotional moment for me, because like I said, prior to the season, I didn't even know, if I could even cut, jump, or do any of those things. And that's what I said. So that all of that was like a big shift for me, and realizing that actually this is much more than just me. This is much more than just a sport. There's so many young people that want to be in these positions, that are actually looking up to the likes of me and so many others. So yeah.
Yeah. And you hit the nail on the head there. Like, injuries are so hard to cope with, and being able to change your perspective, change your view on the game is huge, and it's something that a lot of people struggle with who are, it's not easy to just sit out and still be cheering for your team. You might be feeling really resentful or angry, not at your team, but you might be displaying it in a way of, anger towards the team. And it sounds like you cope with that incredibly well. And it's not easy. Again, that's something that a lot of people have to learn. And it's almost like it's a life skill. It's something that you take forward, in your job later on. You might get fired one day, or you might have a situation where you're able to use those skills and being able to change your perspective. I think that's such a huge learning curve for somebody like you, so young, having been through that, having been able to cope with that in a very positive way. I think that is.
Yeah, I was really grateful for that experience, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, even though like you never want to wish injuries on anyone, but like I was actually truly grateful for that, because in that time as well, like I said, I appreciate the game from a whole different perspective. And on top of that, through that time as well, I did a lot more coaching. So then I understood the game from a coaching standpoint. Then I could understand why certain things are the way they are, reading coverages, understanding plays, the build up, the concepts, and then, just building relationships, from just not from playing, but actually cheering people on, So yeah, I was really grateful for that.
That you've just still been able to contribute. Like you said, I found a different way to still contribute. And that's so important, especially in a team sport and in a sport like this. So well done you. I know I can imagine, I mean, we've been through it, Umbra and I, we've been through quite some severe injuries. So we know how it feels. And it's crap. It's horrible.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, watching other people do what you love and what you're so passionate about is so hard. But you know what? I mean, again, having through that at such a young age, you'll probably know how to deal with that further down the line if something similar happens. So it's something you've learned from.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll look back and thinking, actually, you know what? It's brought me much more than just the skills I already had. So that's really interesting. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think that's really meaningful for a lot of people. And then Shaniga, was there something else that you want to say? Or shall I just move on to?
I think you said
No,
it
no,
all.
no.
Yeah. Okay.
Omari just is already at this age an enormous role model. So yeah, really great job what you've done till
Thank you
now.
very much.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy that you found a place where they celebrate you, because you are so worth it. So worth it. And I think you're gonna go
Thank you.
places, Omari. Absolutely.
Thank you
Yeah.
really much. That I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
Right. Before we get emotional, Shaniga, what's a side of youth sport, especially flag, that doesn't really get talked about enough, you think?
Sorry, I didn't catch the first bit.
Oh, sorry, I was just saying, what's a side of youth sports, especially flag, that you think doesn't really get talked about enough?
Oh, that's a great question. I'm not sure. I think the personal development part of Youth Flag.
Mm,
So there's the competition, which is great, and there's the kind of let's move you into elite side of things. But there's us as youth work practitioners, our first thing is youth work. Coaching comes second, right? So we're like, if we can focus on the youth work, focus on the young person, what is it that they need, and can we help meet that need? We know that we can turn them into amazing athletes. So if you've got, it's that whole, if someone is hungry and you're not going to feed them, but you're trying to get them to do something, they're not going to do it until you feed them. So you've got to feed them first, and then introduce whatever it is that you're trying to get out of them or get into them. So it's the same thing with kind of youth flag. There's a lot of kind of competition. There's all of that good stuff, but actually, if we focus on the young people, focus on the beneficiaries first, focus on personal development, what stuff do they need? How can we get them to be amazing citizens, amazing teammates, amazing leaders, great communicators? The athletic stuff will come along, the getting in the gym, the working, the cutting, the speed, the understanding the playbook, all of that stuff, it'll come along. But our focus as an organization has always been on the individuals, because we're so inclusive, and we will take anybody and everybody on, and we'll work with them. And our sport is an engagement tool. We use that to engage with young people. But like I said, the happy result of that is that we create teams that win stuff, and then we'll create young people that go off and do amazing things at an elite level, which is great. But I think that personal development bit we could focus on that a bit more. I think that would be so helpful for a lot of young people that are in flag programs.
yeah, I agree.
Absolutely.
I
Yeah.
agree big time. Like especially, yeah, the personal development, the mental side of it. Because everyone loves the big plays, the breaking the ankles, the touchdowns, all the stuff there. But there's the in between, where the in between the training camps, the in between the game days, where you're gonna have the moment of feeling down, the moment of doubting yourself, and a lot of young people don't know how to navigate through that. And you can have all the skill in the world, but then you don't believe in yourself. So it's like you've actually not actually tapped into your full potential.
Mhm.
And then, there's been so many people, before me, before you guys, that probably have, like I said, all the skill in the world, but because they didn't believe in themselves, mentally, they probably walked away from their game or the sport that they loved or whatever it is. And I feel
Mhm.
like, yeah, so I feel like that mental aspect is something I feel like should be more focused on. Because within sport, mental health is a big, big thing, that does get overlooked because we're always demanded to, to perform at this high level. But like I said, it's the in between. You're at this high, you win the championship, but then you could lose the championship. Either one, like I said, there's that in between phase of okay, the season's done until next season. There's like the training camp, the winter camp. In between those camps, that's where you can really get into your heads. And like Shaninga said, like the personal development too, which is why I was
Yeah.
grateful for having Jonathan and, Shaninga and all those guys around me, because in between those times where, GB might not have a camp for a couple of weeks or, or wherever it is, like there's something else for us to do. And on top of that, there's also people we could speak to, mentors as well. They're checking in on us, making sure we're okay. Which I feel like a lot of young people would benefit from as well.
Yeah, that mental health and well-being piece is so important, man. You got to get behind our young people and really get to the crux of why they do what they do. How do they get through these tough things? How do you build resilience? How do you face adversity and get through and come out the other side? And then how do you build community? You can't do things alone. You can't be a loner in this world. And we're a people that socialize, that need other people. So how do you build community, and how do you as simple as how do you make friends and how do you keep friends? How do you build trust and how do you keep trust? There are a lot of kind of things that might need to be unlearned and a lot of things that need to be learned. And these are the kind of skills that we try and give to our young people throughout all of our programming, because at the end of the day, you're going to still have to live. You're going to have to be a contributing member of society beyond the sport. So how are you going to do that?
Yeah, you guys are talking our language. I mean, we have backgrounds in psychology, actually, so we talk about the mental aspect a lot with our guests. Um, and honestly, like we believe that, the mental aspect is maybe 80% of your preparation. Like you can be physically 100% ready, 200% ready, but if your mental muscle is not ready for this high level of performance or something else, you will not succeed. So I feel like lots of athletes are so focused on their physical preparation that they kind of forget about the mental part,
Yeah,
which is even more important. So I'm really glad that you actually understand that part, that the mental, not only for you as an athlete, but also your mental health in
as a
general,
person,
obviously,
yeah.
it's so important because that's gonna have an influence on how you react, after a loss or after a fight, maybe, you don't know. So it's pretty amazing how you have this, 360 degrees perspective of, how sports, and especially sports at a high level, works. It's physical, but it's very, very mental as
Mental
well.
as well, yeah,
Yeah.
Absolutely.
yeah.
So yeah, again, great job, and I'm sure that Shaninga has helped you a lot in these things,
Yeah,
and it's
definitely. Generally, like that's why I've always said like I'm super grateful for Big Kid as a whole, because like I said, without Big, I wouldn't have this, 360 perspective, because like I said, I was always playing sports before, but like I said, like any young person is always, focused on the outcome. I need to perform, I need to, oh, I didn't score a goal, or I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But then like you said, it's the actual mental preparation as well. And like I said, in between those games, training is where, a lot of young people, or even just athletes in general, they could sometimes lose themselves, and then sometimes you hear these tragic stories that, you think, oh, this NBA or NFL player at the top of their game. And then, sometimes you might have a tragic story and you're like, oh, but they just scored 3 touchdowns on the weekend. And it's all because they don't know how to cope with it mentally, like I said, in the in-between phase, which is I'm grateful for. Like, it's even though it's an ongoing process, it's never like a linear process. But Big Kid is always there that, you could always call on. They're always helping me, other young people as well, with our mental side, whether that's within the sport, outside of the sport.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
very well said. And then I'm just thinking, Shaninga, maybe this is good for you, but can you share a moment, maybe a person, a story, or like a small win that reminded you why this work matters so much that you guys do?
I mean, you might
Oh
have
man.
Yeah,
said,
you might have touched on some of it already.
yeah,
Yeah. There's so many, man. I mean, Omari's story is amazing. He's done great
yeah,
things, and but there are so many. Jokobed is another amazing young person that's come through. There are so many stories. I've got like over 25 years worth of stories of young people just coming through adversity, turning their lives around, being super positive, and it's gone from as spectacular and as amazing as going to America and getting a scholarship in a college and playing Division 1 football, to as simple as someone moving into their first flat by themselves, getting their first job and then getting married and having a kid. And I'm showing my age now. I've got young people that have progressed that way, and those are amazing stories for me, because I'm just like, we just want young people to be great, like wherever they are, and greatness is whatever it means to them. And it's like, if greatness means having reconciliation with your family and with your parents, then let's go for it. Let's help you do that. If greatness is, I want to play in the NFL, well, let's work it out and see how far we can go. Let's try, and it's and if it works out, great. If it doesn't work out, it's great as well. You've learned a lot of lessons. Let's go out and do something else. Let's figure out what other skills you've got. Like, Omar is an amazing athlete, but at the same time, he runs all of our comms. He runs all of our social media comms. He's putting all that stuff out there. He's picked up a camera recently and he's doing videos. He's doing photography, and it's all amazing. So there are all these skills that these young people have that we're trying to eke out of them slowly and but surely. That, look, you know you're young. The world is an amazing world. We want you to travel the world. There's a young girl. They used to come to the program called Paris, and I tell her story a lot because she has an amazing background. She's come through a serious adversity, but she was the only girl playing on the South London Renegades
Yeah.
contact football team. After having never played the game before, playing it with us, she got onto the team. She wanted to play contact, only girl playing there, and then moved on to the London Warriors ladies. And but that's amazing in and of itself, right? And she's gone on to do amazing things. She then got she was a recipient of the Jags
Yeah. The
scholarship
Grant.
award.
Yeah.
She got all of that, which is great. But for me, one of the most amazing things that Paris ever did was get a passport. She had never had a passport until she came to Big Kid. We convinced her to get a passport. She got a passport and she went and signed up for Camp America. And it's like, the girl, you can't stop her now. She's like, I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to. So for us, it's like the win is like that, opening your eyes that the world is bigger than the estate you've come from. And you can do it. You can get out there. Go out and see what this world has to do. Go and attack this world. And those kind of stories really kind of, they keep us going. They keep me going because young people are amazing. They just need an opportunity.
Oh, it sounds like there were so many stories, like not just one, that there are multiple. But I'm
Yeah.
sure
Yeah.
I'm sure it's not always like smooth sailing. So was there like a lesson maybe you had to learn or learn the hard way, really, as a leader or founder?
Oh man, so many, man. I'm still learning them.
Yeah.
Every day I'm learning lessons, man. And it's, you know, young people are not a monolith. Young people are interesting. You can have the best intentions for them, but if they don't want it and if they don't want to do it, and if that drive is not on the inside of them, you can't make them do anything. And we've had cases of young people when we used to run a soccer program, similar to the flag program. We were pushing, and we had loads of kids that were super talented, and we managed to get them trials for big football clubs. And one of the young people that we're working with, he got a trial for a Premier League football club. Um, Got in. They accepted him, but he chose the street life. He went back to riding a push bike in Brixton with a hoodie on because the peer pressure was too much, and he didn't want to leave. The club was outside of London. He didn't want to leave London, and that was a shame. Stuff like that happens where you can't control that. You can just give as many opportunities as you can, and we will back young people as much as we possibly can. But at the end of the day, they have to do the work. You have to go out there and do it. People like Omari has taken on opportunities that we've given to him, and this is the result. A lot of other young people haven't. And it's sad, but it's the nature of youth work. This is the world that we live in.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, it's their life, it's their responsibility. So you can give them all the tools and all the opportunities, but if they don't want it, it's on them, and you did your job
Yeah.
So that makes total sense. So Shininga, if Big Kid Foundation works exactly how you hope, what actually changes in maybe 5 years or maybe 10 years?
Ha, great question. We go global, baby. we
Woo!
we
Yeah.
we are super ambitious as an organization.
Yeah.
We would love to first of all hit the whole of the UK with what we do, and then we're in the process of trying to figure out how we're gonna take our program across Africa, and then from Africa we might hit the Caribbean, where Omari's family's from, and hit Trinidad and Jamaica and some of these countries. So I've done a lot of traveling over the last 3 years, and there's loads of opportunities to kind of share best practice about what Big Kid does, and share the Big Kid model. And we'd love to do more of that and just reach more young people and see more young people do amazing things across the world.
And Omari, when you think about your future, what do you hope sport and Big Kids Foundation specifically help you become?
So for me, I've always, even though like I'm always an athlete, I know I always say like athlete first, but I always, find myself on always being more than an athlete. So, in the years to come, even though I still want to be playing my sport, and fingers crossed, Olympics and all those stuff, but also giving back to the youth as well, like I currently do now, and giving them a voice, constantly, because if we don't give them a voice, then, nothing's really gonna change. So, within the next couple of years, I just want to continue, giving the platform, using my platform as well. And, since I also do the Big Kids socials and their comms as well, giving that platform to young people to share their stories where, they also feel empowered, because then through that empowerment, they also understand that they are worth it as well, and they can do such amazing things, and people actually want to hear more, because a lot of the times when they're in school, it's, oh, there's lesson this time, lesson that time, and they don't really get to share what really matters to them, where when they come to Big Kid, and where I then get to sit down with them, or be creative with them, that's the first time they actually sit down and actually have someone that actually wants to learn more about them.
Yeah.
So that's more what I kind of want to do, as well as, with Big Kid, and, me as myself as well. And that's why I always say, like, for me, like I said at the beginning, just continue to be more than just an athlete.
Mm. Wow, beautiful. We just love to hear like how you continue your involvement with Big Kid. It's not like, oh yeah, that's done now. No, you actually stay involved and see how you can still contribute in your own way, and
Yeah.
maybe show other people how you've, your journey. And that's beautiful. Um, and actually just a curiosity, like to both of you, when you're not training, when you're not coaching, when you're not planning, what do you actually do for fun?
You
I'm
go
a
first,
dad.
Shaniga?
I am a dad. I've got two girls. I'm a girl dad, so I love
Oh,
pushing, and my eldest is an athlete. She loves sport, she loves playing sport, she loves everything. She's like a mini me. So I'm looking after my kids. I'm married. I love my family. I'm big on family, so I'm always around my parents, my sister, her family, my little niece, my cousins. I do a lot of that. Super active in my church. So I do a lot of that kind of stuff as well. Love music. Big Kid, at one point, we were a rap group. We used to rap a lot. So we do, I love making music. I love, right now, my daughter's picked up the guitar. So we're doing loads of kind of writing songs and just mucking about, and doing silly things. But yeah, usually it's mainly family stuff, mainly family stuff.
that is lovely. That's so lovely to hear. It's 'cause sometimes we just talk about all the serious stuff, and we just really like to bring in the fun and the human side of things. So, same for you, Amari, or is it mainly just flag, 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 or not so much? Are you doing other things in your free time?
No, so I do like to do some other stuff in my free time, although it does mainly revolve around sport. When I am away from sport, I do, I'm very family oriented as well. Like I really do like to spend a lot of time with my mom, my sister, and then also traveling back home, to Trinidad as well. Because that's where most of my family is from, and where most of the family are. So, doing that as well. And then I'm a big on music, you know, soca, that's what we mostly listen to in Trinidad as well. Yeah, and I kind of just like to have fun, kind of like to, you know, be a child, if that makes sense, you know. I don't like to really take things too seriously, you know,
Yeah,
in life,
yeah,
because then I feel like you kind of lose that kind of essence of being youthful, you know, if you're taking things seriously all the time, you know. So I like to kind of live in the moment, you know, kind of also be there for my friends as well, whether that's, you know, mentally or just having a good time, you know, just kind of just being like a good human being, you know.
Mm.
That's mostly what I like to do.
yeah. And a big kid part of the culture is fun, man. Like we like to laugh a lot. We've got a bunch of jokers that work at Big Kid,
Yeah.
and it's a cool it's cool to have people that are funny around because we're always kind of cracking up and joking because the work is very serious and it's a it's work that can take over your life. It can be all encompassing and you can lose sleep over some of the stories I could tell you, some of the situations some of the young people find themselves in. So it's really important that we just have people around us that understand what fun is, how to have fun, and let's have fun. We're going to be serious, let's be serious, but actually it's good to joke around. Like I've traveled with these guys and it's always a laugh and it's good. That's the kind of stuff that we like to have around all the time.
So important. Absolutely. So Omari, I'm very curious. What is something about you people would never guess?
Oh, oh, that's a very good one. Um, hmm. Um, oh, actually, I used to, this is great. I've actually never said, I actually used to do a lot of street dancing when I was younger. Um, yeah, I used to go to clubs. Yeah, even now talking about, I'm like, I can't believe I actually did that. But yeah, I used to do a lot of street dance when I was younger. I think I was actually pretty good at it as well. Why I stopped, I don't know.
I
I'm
need to
kind of
see
glad
this.
I
I
stopped
need to
though.
see this.
I was just going to say,
I
Need
actually
to
Shaniga,
do
see
you
have
look
this.
videos as well on my
surprised.
phone.
You didn't
I do
know.
have videos on my phone as well. But yeah. So that I mean that also kind of plays into the kind of personality I am now. Like I really am, you know, I like to dance a lot, you know, whether it's silly dance moves or serious dance moves. I like to just have fun. You know, like I was saying before, like music is a big part of my life. So yeah. But that street dance one, yeah, yeah.
Well, honestly, the dancing part helps you a lot in flag football. I mean, Tika and I
Yeah.
be dancers as well.
We do
But
actually, yeah.
we used to work, we were part of an artist group and we were doing a lot of, shows and entertainment as dancers in groups or together. And the dancing really helps. I mean, you need your hips so much for flag football. So it does really
Yeah.
help that you're saying that.
Listen,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
hips
yeah.
don't lie. I'm telling you,
Yeah.
you gotta that hip movement. If you don't got it, you're gonna get tagged, man. So
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Okay, another question for you, Omari. If you could challenge anyone, an athlete or a celebrity maybe, to a flag football game, who are you picking and why?
Just one person.
Yeah.
Yes, sorry, yeah.
I would say Lewis Hamilton.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Ooh.
reason being because one, he is my biggest role model. You know, and two, he's very youthful as well, even though, you know, people might call him old and people, you know, people have a lot to say about him, but he's done a lot, you know, for young people as well, for the black community as well, because he also is like the only black driver on the F1 grid and he has been for some years as well. And you know, just the way how he's also revolutionized that sport as well, whether it's, you know, just because he's won 7 world championships on the same as Michael Schumacher, or even just the way how in the fashion sense as well, where he's now changed that game. Um, but I also feel like he's also like a fun person as well in general, and I feel like he would have a good time as well, and I feel like that would also be a good moment for me to share with him as well. You know, playing like a flag football game with Lewis Hamilton. So yeah.
I
Love
love
that.
that. That's a great
Love
answer. We love Lewis Hamilton, honestly.
that.
So that's a great answer. Okay, guys. Well, before we wrap up, we would like to invite you to take part in our signature segments.
Okay.
We've given our rapid fire round a little makeover for this new season, and we have added another segment to the end of our podcast. And today it will be Flag Isn't Just. Okay, Tika.
Okay, so are we gonna show a little rapid fire video first?
Yes, okay, there it comes.
Okay, so you'll get the little rapid fire video, and then we'll start. When you've got it,
I got it.
No? Okay, here we go. Official introduction. Okay, let's start with our rapid fire 2.0. We would like to invite you to finish 5 sentences that we will read out. No explaining, just finishing the sentences. We might ask you to elaborate afterwards. Okay, Shaniga, you're up first. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay, first one. Leadership means. Finish the sentence.
Leadership means giving other people a voice.
Pressure feels like.
Pressure feels like being a dad at 3 a.m. in the morning when your kids are throwing up.
Fair, that's fair. Okay. Success in flag football looks like.
Success in flag football looks like young people having the most amount of fun, every young person feeling involved and included in the sport.
Beautiful. The sport needs more.
The sport needs more women.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, let's go.
Is the right answer. Okay, last one for you, Shaninga. Community over competition, true or false?
True.
Yes, agreed. All right, great job. Omari, it's your turn.
Confidence feels like.
Being truly yourself.
Yes, beautiful. Being part of a team means.
Being part of a team means finding a family away from your family at home.
Yes.
Yeah.
I like that. One thing sport has taught me.
I'd always be okay in the end.
Oh,
I love this. Okay, last one. My biggest motivation is.
My mom.
oh,
Yeah, my mom.
Great answers, guys. It's
Yeah.
been.
And then finally, may we ask you to finish this sentence, Shaninga? Flag football isn't just blank, it's actually blank.
Flag football isn't just competition, it's actually community.
Yeah.
Yes. And Omari, same question from the athlete's point of view.
Hold on, could you repeat again?
Yes, of course. Flag football isn't just blank, it's actually blank.
I feel flag football isn't just a sport. I feel like it's a movement.
Ooh, yeah.
You guys
So
are.
good. Amazing. I love those answers.
Yeah, great job, guys. I was thinking about the reels that we have to create. We need to create so many. Like there was so many great moments in this episode. Oh, it was beautiful. So Shaning and Omar,
And you guys have been great, by the way. Thank you guys so
Yeah,
much for having us.
honestly,
because
thank you. This was
I've
my
been-
first ever podcast, honestly, and yeah,
Oh,
thank you.
fabulous.
Yeah, you guys have been amazing hosts and love your content. You know, keep doing what you guys are doing, man. It's great stuff.
it
Appreciate
means
that so much. Thank you so much. That's so nice to hear.
absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your unique journeys and the impact of Big Kid Foundation. Shaninga and Omari, can you please tell our listeners where they can find you if they want to learn more about you guys or get involved with Big Kid?
So you can
Yeah, you
find
can
all
find
of BIGKID socials. Yeah, you can find all of BIGKID socials on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook. You can simply just type in BIGKID Foundation, BIGKID Charity, and you'll find us on there. If you want to find me personally, it's Mari_04 on Instagram, and then Shaninga.
yeah, you can find me
Yes.
on Shaniga online on Instagram and uh quite active on LinkedIn. Connect with me, man. Let's talk.
And to all our listeners, follow Talkin Flag on all platforms for full episodes, clips, and behind the scenes.
And if you're building something through flag football or using the sport to create change, our DMs are always open.
And if you're inspired by Shanika's work and Omari's journey, think about ways you can support or start something similar in your community. Support organizations doing the work, support young athletes, and don't underestimate the power of community.
Keep chasing those flags. And remember, sport is about more than winning, it's about impact.
Thank you so much, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you
guys.
so much.
Thank you.
You did a great job, both of you. And I loved this episode. It was so different from the other ones that we had, and
Great.
extremely inspiring. And so glad to have you on our podcast.
Let's keep in
Thank you for
touch.
Amazing.
having us. Yes,
Absolutely.
yes,
Let's stay in
yes.
touch, man. Thanks a lot,
Thank
guys. Appreciate
you.
you.
Thank you
You guys
so
have a
Thank you
much.
great
very
evening.
much. Thank you.
Have a good
Thank
one,
you.
Bye.
guys.
Bye
See you
bye.
later. Bye.